Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and this is the CTP of Judgment test for Electro. The first time giving him a CTP, and I wanted to go with the more flexible option here. So we're going with a CTP of Judgment and seeing just how well he can do against different World Boss Legends and also Squad Battle. So we're checking this out here, but my early reports, my early sort of feeling about the CTP of Judgment is not fantastic. Now, I will have to make the sort of separation and make the reference to a mighty CTP of Judgment, because I know a lot of content creators have made content talking about or playing Electro with a mighty, and a mighty is quite different from other CTPs specifically for Electro. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but for now, just check out his power level, you know, what he can do. We're a little bit off in terms of the synergy between our Insight CTP and our Judgment CTP, but that's okay, because we're doing pretty good for time here. This does take me around 75 to 90 seconds on phase 1. It's a pretty tight clear, but stage 35 is a pretty high stage, so you sort of, you know, get what you expected. You get knocked back there. He gets knocked back sometimes, not all the time. It's something you just sort of deal with. You can delay the 6th skill on the opening rotation when you first start the match. If you find yourself getting knocked back right at the beginning, you can just delay the 6th skill, because it has a little bit of invincibility on it to give you that super armor. But otherwise, from there, you're just gonna have to play it straight and see what comes of it. But yeah, he does a really nice opening rotation here. Lots of characters struggle to do damage when Null is jumping at the beginning, but Electro does not, which is very nice. And then we use the first skill to zip away from him to reposition so we don't get clobbered by the spikes. We still sort of get nicked by 1 or 2, but the other nice thing is you can use the 5th skill to dodge around while the spikes are bouncing back. Like after he sent out the 8 spikes, you can then use the 5th skill to dodge it. And one thing that I can't really highlight by showing you, and I have to tell you, is that I am recording. This is my first recording, and we've had 0 issues so far with the run. So in terms of consistency, I would say Electro is one of the most consistent characters I've played in a while. And unfortunately, some other characters that I've played not too pretty recently have been sort of the opposite, not very consistent at all. So I really like that about this character. He's very tanky. I can make a lot of mistakes. You know, things can go wrong, and yet he still keeps on trucking and, you know, doing his thing. So this is kind of a janky rotation there. I did 6 and then 5 and then 3. It was really weird, but I was just trying to pump out tons of damage because I knew Null was in his transition phase from attacking you to going on to the dragon. So we were just pumping out damage here. This is, see, he just dodged that. I could have died there. Okay, I need to stop talking about how the run could be scuffed, and I need to start unscuffing the run, because I don't want to actually mess it up here by playing too scuffed. But yeah, you can play very scuffed, and Electro absolutely makes up for a lot of your mistakes, which is really nice, and not a lot of characters can do that, you know? It's really, we're gonna play it slow here. It's not a lot of characters that can do that. And you're probably wondering why I'm playing slow. Okay, this may be... Alright, it's fine. We lost about 10 seconds. That's fine. So you can do all this with Electro. You can speed through the first few phases and then take it easy at the end. He's also very good in this last phase because he gets super armor. He zips around, and then you just pop the co-op skill with the 4th, and you blast off and do a ton of damage, and then you can just escape. He tanks that last phase super duper well. So although it may not seem like much, this is actually very easy, and this is very consistent for me. Also, I tried this when I was on the toilet about 10 minutes ago, and I finished it about 25 seconds slower. I finished it with about 29 seconds left. So the fact that I just increased my time while recording and talking to you guys by 25 seconds means that he can go further than this. I do a lot of comparisons lately about villains on stage 35 specifically. You know, Infinity Ultron came out, Thanos came out. We compared them all on 35, and 35 was their limit, right? And they both have self-buffing leaderships just like Electro, Thanos, and Infinity Ultron, and they both had CTPs. They had CTPs of energy, but only Electro has been able to go further than that. But I still don't think he's actually that well suited for Null, at least with a regular Judgment. And the reason for that is Ignore Dodge. He doesn't have any Ignore Dodge outside of his 6th skill, and we know that Null has tons of guaranteed dodge, and he dodges a lot of your attacks. So when that Ignore Dodge buff runs out, and you know what, I actually can't even find... Okay, there it is, 70% for 12 seconds. Once the Ignore Dodge buff runs out, his damage actually is pretty pedestrian. And so we've got a regular CTP of Judgment, but that's why I actually think if you want to use Electro for all content, you may want to give him an energy versus a Judgment. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. I really wish we had some more villain supports that gave Ignore Dodge on their passives, like we have for heroes like Valkyrie, etc. But I think that's kind of the issue. I don't know if his artifact gives Ignore Dodge. I haven't looked at it lately, but that's really the issue I see versus Null specifically. However, Judgment is going to be very good versus Mephisto, and it's also going to be very good in squad battle. So now let's check those both out. First up, we got Mephisto, and we're actually going all the way to stage 40, which is a huge jump up for Electro. Very few characters on my roster, just for reference, can do stage 40 with a regular CTP. So this is definitely up there with the most difficult content that my roster is able to complete. And again, this is also without reforged CTPs, which is where they're sort of starting to be necessary. And actually, some of my clears beyond 40 for Mephisto were with mighty CTPs of destruction on Hela as a villain. So yeah, Electro does pretty well here. He tanks pretty well, but he's a little bit slow from my initial testing. But we'll see if we can get a better run here. We did just get a better run versus Null, so maybe we'll also get a better run versus Mephisto. But again, very easy, right? Oh yeah, much better run. Like, again, like 15, 20 seconds faster. Okay, so Electro really wants to show off for the crowd, it seems like. So let's go. Let's see how much this does. Not bad, not bad. We do always have the bonus of positioning. See, we can always just zip away from him and dodge these very annoying, very difficult, painful attacks. And we can also start our rotation kind of far from him and still get a lot of damage off because the 5th skill has such nice targeting. We almost got caught there in something dirty. We almost got caught in the double sort of burning twister that he creates before and after, but we're okay. Man, that time freeze was so savagely placed to like waste an extra few seconds on this run. We're doing really good right now. He's gonna phase change. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I got. That's the thing I got to say about Electro. Like, he's really good, of course, but he's also just so consistent. Fun to play and just so consistent. It's really hard to illustrate and to show you what consistency is like, but I feel like I don't talk about it enough because most of the time I try to not hide, but I try not to focus on characters' inconsistencies because I know that I'm human. I also make mistakes. I'm not the greatest player in the world. I can play badly, and I don't want to misrepresent a character just because I'm having a bad day as a player or what have you. So we're gonna switch here. So I don't really talk too much about inconsistencies, which is why I really want to highlight the reverse, which is... Okay, there we didn't proc at all, which is kind of annoying, but the 4th skill comes in and saves us, because the 4th skill procs like a... Okay, we got snared. Okay, okay. Alright, okay. That was a little messy at the end there. We didn't pop the 6 either, because again, I wanted to... Okay, there we missed the 6. Nice, so we're going to pop it now. Alright, this needs to get cleaned up for sure. These tornadoes, man. We just procced again by accident. Okay, so we're losing a lot of time here, which is really annoying. I need to just sort of focus on the fight now and not so much on... Bro, and now he doesn't proc? What's going on? Okay, alright. Well, let's see what happens here. I don't know. We're getting a little unlucky at the same time. Nice. Oh my god, what happened? I don't know, something, one of the frickin' strikers got in my way and like pushed me over into his stun. Sure, whatever. So, if we clear this, even with all these mistakes, again, this is just more power to the army of Electro. Right? What the hell is that, dude? I'm okay, sure. I don't know. My joystick just stopped moving. So the thing is, because of the movement on the 5th skill and because the 3rd skill demands movement to charge up, you have a situation where a mighty CTP, any sort of, man, these frickin' time freezes are pissing me off, dude. Any mighty CTP that has movement, so it could be destruction or energy or judgment, it actually synergizes super well, right? It actually synergizes super well because he's moving anyways for his skills. So that is why I think a mighty is gonna actually provide a lot of additional bonus value, whereas on other characters it'll still provide bonus value but not as much. Oh my god, I got snared. This is gonna come right down to the wire, but I'm actually not nervous at all because Electro claps cheeks. Yep. So there you go. I think that's the perfect example of how consistent he is. That was a pretty bad run, I have to say. That was not a good run. I got distracted talking, and we missed, I want to say we missed at least like 4 or 5 procs, and we also delayed our 6th skill by about 10 seconds, which almost means we could have squeezed in another 6th skill. So we maybe could have played worse. I don't know how much worse we could have played, but he still got it done. So I'm really, really happy with his performance, but I do still see a little bit of weakness in the rotation because the Judgment doesn't have any ignore dodge, because he doesn't have any ignore dodge, and because none of the there are no villain strikers that have ignore dodge, and then there are no villain supports with ignore dodge besides, I believe, Taskmaster, but I'm not 100% sure if his ignore dodge only applies to weapons master characters. Last but not least, I want to show you how much higher his squad battle score goes. I believe we're 1 point higher since then because we transcended Mysterio, so 1% of my score should be deducted, but let's see how he does. Here we go, round 3 versus Surtur. We didn't get the best possible score in rounds 1 and 2, but no worries, because this is where it's all going to pay off, and I think this is where people are going to see a big difference versus investing in a CTP or an obelisk. Now, we unfortunately did not proc, so we're just going to take that time to collect some orbs and then proc on 4, but really good range. Surtur's like off camera, off screen, and Electro finds a way to hit him. See, we're seeing some big numbers here, some big juicy numbers. We were able to save 3 light from the previous phase by using the Black Cat team up, so that was pretty nice. And his AoE is also good enough to clear all of those waves, but he does that pretty much regardless because the mobs don't have enough HP at all, so we don't have to worry too much about that. I don't think we're gonna have enough. Oh, we did. Wow, I didn't think we were gonna have enough time to collect those. Nice. That's what I really like about Electro, man. You use the 5th skill, you're doing damage, and you're collecting the light. It's like he was made for squad battle. So again, we're going to use the co-op here to save. Oh, we're going to use the co-op to save some light. To save 1 light? Okay. Sure. But there we go. We just touched down on 9 mil, and all this is gravy. It's not going to be a massive score difference from an obelisk, which I believe was around 8.5, but still quite nice. And for those of you who take squad battle really seriously and always want to get those extra man delays, because unlike a lot of other game modes, at least squad battle does reward you. You do actually get quite a bit more reward. You can get like double the rewards for actually playing really well. So I almost added 1,000,000 points to my score, and I think if I played that a couple more times and practiced, I could definitely push that closer to 10 million. So that's really where you're going to see. What's up, KJ? It's not the same KJ. But that's really where you're going to see, I think, a lot of the value with a CTP of Judgment. However, last but not least, I do have to discuss a mighty CTP of Judgment because, remember, his 3rd skill accumulates attack based on movement. And all of the mighty CTPs, if you roll them to have that effect, they will also have that bar underneath that you move around to accumulate, whether you're accumulating for the strike proc on a destruction, which could also be really good for Electro because he doesn't have ignore dodge, or you're accumulating for extra pierce on a CTP of energy, which is probably the weakest of the three at this point for elemental characters, or you're accumulating for the type amplification, which is going to be exceptionally good against Mephisto. You could probably easily crush stage 40 or 45 of Mephisto with less pierce than I do if you had a mighty CTP of Judgment. However, I do recognize that the Judgment is one of the most expensive and hardest to get, rarest CTPs, and therefore telling you to sacrifice one of them and smash two together probably makes you shudder inside. So I don't blame you. So yeah, I think for regular CTPs, if you're not going to go mighty, I think there's definitely an argument to be made for an energy for Electro. It does make the procking harder. It does make the gameplay a little bit less like stress-free. It makes it a bit more stressful, but I think he'll be more widely. He's going to lose a little bit of squad battle score, but he'll definitely increase his productivity in Null. But his Null productivity is not bad. Like, he can do at least 36, 37, and you could easily push 39 if he had a little bit more ignore dodge on his baseline. But yeah, that's the review for CTP Electro. I'm very happy with this character. I cannot stress enough how easy this review was, and it was basically a one and done review, which is very rare nowadays for me to wake up, put some clothes on, wash the face, and then review a character without multiple takes, without multiple tries in different World Boss Legends. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.